Hello and welcome to an IBL video. The IBL season is officially beginning in about 12 hours from now. It's a little bit past midnight for me. And so I want to actually make a ranking video since the debut of IBL is happening soon. The reason I've been holding off on a ranking video for so long is because I don't want any major changes to happen to any teams after my ranking video takes place. Because, for example, a team such as the Arcane, for example, with Q Deep retiring makes a huge difference to any rankings that anybody's going to be making. So I was waiting until the IBL season was just about to start before I made any rankings. Now, something that we do need to keep in mind before we go into these rankings is that we will not be doing 2 divisions with half of the teams on each division this season. Instead, we will be having 4 divisions, the Coastal Division, the Volcanic Division, and the 2 new divisions, the Arid Division and the Alpine Division. And what's important about this is that half of the teams are not guaranteed to make playoffs from each division this season. Instead, it is going to be the top team from each division is guaranteed playoffs, and they will be seeded from 1 through 4 based off of their win rate. After that, divisions do not matter. All of the remaining teams will be seeded based off of their win rate. So for example, if all 4 teams in the Coastal Division absolutely pop off, then we could see all 4 teams in the Coastal Division making playoffs. And if all 4 teams in the Air Division do absolutely abysmal, but Nova does just barely better than the other 3, then Nova will make playoffs and the other 3 won't make playoffs. So it's very interesting because the top team is guaranteed, but after that, we don't know which division's actually going to be better. Starting off with the Coastal Division, since it is one of the 2 original divisions from the first 3 seasons, we have 4 teams. We've got Donut Kingdom with its first season as a team, Rat Tactics with its 3rd season as a team, the Syndicate with its 2nd season as a team, and Divine Rising making a return after disbanding following season 1. There's a very obvious juggernaut in this division. Pretty much everyone agrees that Donut Kingdom is the number 1 team here. They've got Eevees and Brunted as an insane duo. Gray is a phenomenal player. Blackshawn is a phenomenal player. And I'm not actually sure about Taffel. I don't really know how good they are at BattleBox, but these 4 players alone should be getting them into playoffs at least. If Taffel is also a phenomenal player, then even more so guaranteed playoffs. So on my handy dandy little Notepad of Truth got up here in the top right, I'm going to be putting for the Coastal Division, Donut Kingdom in first place. The reason it is called the Notepad of Truth is because I am never wrong. I will be correct about every single one of these predictions, and you can quote me on that. As for the other 3 teams in this division, it could actually be any of them for getting 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. There's not a clear best team of these 3. That being said, the majority of people have Divine Rising not performing well this season. I'm not sure I necessarily agree with that. If they do not perform well, then it isn't due to a bad team. It's due to every other team doing well. But as a team themselves, they have Apple on their team. They have Zera on their team. Nudley plays a lot of CBB. Gecko and Jojo are both really solid players. I don't think this team's going to do as bad as people are thinking. That being said, I might agree with them being last in the division. Syndicate has very strong players mechanically. It's a team of 5. Sherpa is a really good player, so is Demers. I'm not as sure about the other 3, but I am aware of the fact that they're all, at the very minimum, really good at the game. So I think Syndicate is 2nd place for me, at least. Rat Tactics would have been 2nd place, but Marie retired before the season began, which again is why I delayed this video, because if any other teams were going to have a major player retire, that would change my predictions. That being said, Rat Tactics still has TJ on their team and Bigfoot on their team, which are both amazing players. Sykens will be a really, really good support player. And Natal Zulu, I'm pretty sure is really good at the game. They were only around in Season 1, and they had to play on Galaxy, which I don't think did very well in Season 1. Oh, they were actually on a 2-way contract. They were on a team with Blurry, Perhex, and Atomic Sherry. Did Galaxy actually not do well? Okay, I went back to Season 1 stats. Galaxy went 5-8, which is alright. It's obviously not a winning record, but they still made playoffs. Ultimately, all 3 of these teams have potential to be 2nd. I'm going to go with putting the Syndicate in 2nd, Rat Tactics in 3rd, and Divine Rising in 4th. This is just gut feeling. Actually, no, I'm never wrong. So I'm not going to say I could be wrong, because I'm never wrong. This is definitely going to be right. I don't know. It really depends on, like, the chemistry of these teams. All of these teams have solid players mechanically. The chemistry has to come through to see which teams are going to actually be performing well. Mechanically, though, this is going to be my ranking for the time being, but I have Donut Kingdom making playoffs. Going on to the next division, we've got the Volcanic division. This is the division that I am in. We got the Arcane, the Droogs, Serpentine, and Hang 10. Most people are predicting Serpentine to be the #1 team in this division. I am also on the same boat as them. One, because I do think Serpentine is the best team in this division, and two, because I am on Serpentine and I want us to be the #1 team in the division. When it comes to second place, I think it comes between Hang 10 and Arcane. I don't think Droogs get second or third. And my reasoning for that is just Arcane and Hang 10 are both really good teams, and I don't know if Droogs have the firepower to compete against it. If Droogs can make really good strategies, which I think that they have a team built around making good strategies, I think that they can do better this season. But in terms of just raw firepower, Snaz, Twitchy, Absol, and Soul Spider on Hang 10 is going to be pretty tough to deal with. And Arcane has Smashy, Monkey Nick, I don't know names, Lit420, and Spec. They did lose Deep, which is really unfortunate for Arcane, but Spec is also a phenomenal rookie. They could be Rookie of the Year. Spec and JFeg. JFeg is on Nova. These are the two players that most people are looking at for Rookie of the Year. Actually, I don't know if most people are looking at Spec, but I'm looking at Spec for Rookie of the Year at least. I want Droogs to do well, though, because it does have Alex and Decody on it, which both of them were on my team in Season 2 Rat Tactics, so I would like them to do well. I just think that Hang 10 and Arcane are going to be too hard to beat. Between Arcane and Hang 10 for who gets second, I'm an Arcane believer. I'm going to put Arcane in second. They just have so many good players on their team. Hang 10, I'm not sure. I know that Snaz is good. I know that Twitchy is good at support roles. I don't know about Absol and Soul Spider. I don't know how good those two players are. Maybe there are some Season 3 stats on Absol. Where's Absol on the kills leaderboard? 5 kills? Okay, so Absol MVP maybe. I'm going to commit to these rankings though. Serpentine first, Arcane second, Hang 10 third, Droogs fourth. I could definitely see Arcane and Hang 10 both making playoffs despite their rankings in second and third. Droogs being in fourth place is going to make it ridiculously hard for them to make playoffs, but we'll see. All right, moving on to one of our new divisions. We have the Arid division. Within this division, we've got 4 teams. We've got Nova, the Season 3 finalists that lost to Hang 10. Nocturnal, they did not make playoffs, which was actually a really big upset in my opinion for Season 3. I think most people agree that Nocturnal not making playoffs was pretty insane. Ultraviolet and Impact. This team is absolutely filled with juggernaut teams. Everybody knows about the Nocturnal duo that we are getting this season, Duzum and Kyoi, the Season 2, and oh my god, I'm blocking the screen again. On Nocturnal, we've got Duzum and Kyoi, which are the Season 2 MVP and the Season 3 MVP. So that is going to be an absolutely insane duo to watch. I am so excited to watch it. I am not sure if it's going to work, because stacking your team with such firepower, I don't know. It just depends on whether the other players can keep up with them. Because Duzum and Kyoi are both really good players, but honestly, I'd rather have 4 solid players than 2 really good players. But I think from what I've seen, that Tyler and Ravioli are both great players. And Nocturnal is definitely in contention for being #1 of their division. Nova is another team that is in contention for being #1 in their division. We got Gizzy, Dald, Tormud, Cool, and JFeg. All 5 players are absolutely insane at the game. I think that they are in contention to win the entire IBL Season 4. It's just such an insane team. All 5 of these players are so good at the game. JFeg, probably Rookie of the Season, if not Spec. I don't know who else is in contention for Rookie of the Season. There's probably somebody I'm forgetting, but JFeg is on almost everybody's radar for Rookie of the Season. And then we've got Impact. Impact also has an absolutely insane roster. They've got Kami, who went for 3,090 points. I think that's the most expensive contract that we've gotten this season. Yeah, most expensive contract this season. Absolutely ridiculous price. Yamsabag went for 790. Delano went for 500. And then we've got the whole Kabelic issue going for 80. If you know about Kabelic going for 80 points, you know about Kabelic going for 80 points. Ultimately, these 3 teams are going to be the top 3 teams in their division. Ultraviolet is predicted by most people to be the weakest team this season. They have Fawn Aardvark, Plunge, Skate, Coolest Green, and Konzid on their team. I would like them to pull off an Arctic Guards, honestly. It would be really cool if they could just do a Season 3 Arctic Guards and just start taking down Juggernaut teams because everyone's selling them short. But ultimately, if you do look at their division, they are just in a division with such insane teams that there's no way they don't get last when this is what they have to deal with. And it's not even their fault. Just being in a division with these 3 teams is so unlucky. But I really hope that they can get like 3rd or higher, because it'd be really, really funny if they did a Season 3 Arctic Guards. As for my predictions for the top 3, I think that Nova's first, Nocturnal is second, and Impact is third. I could see switching around Nocturnal and Impact. I do think that Nova gets first. It's just, all 3 teams are so insane that, once again, the same way that like these 3 on Coastal Division could be swapped around, these 3 on the Air Division, or not these 3. These 3 on the Air Division could be swapped around. It's just so difficult when they've stacked so many insane teams in the Air Division. But this is what my prediction is going to be. Moving on to the 4th and final division, we've got the Alpine Division. For this division, we've got Stuff But Tough making a return. It's nice to have them back. We've got the Tavern, we've got the Femme Fatales, and we've got Aces Up. By the way, Aces Up has the absolute coolest branding I've ever seen. They also have a B-League team called Snake Eyes. So for the Alpine Division, pretty much everybody once again agrees that the juggernaut of this division is Aces Up. Oop, let me not put them in last. Aces Up. Absolutely insane team. Another team I could see winning the entire season. Let's go ahead and take a look at them. We have got Rotom, Yuma, Prince, Floofy Flame, and Attack Red. That is such a stacked team. Why are they all so good at the game? I see a lot of people predicting Floofy Flame as the IBL Season 4 MVP because Floofy has always had insane stats. In Season 2, Floofy was 4th on kills. Season 3, they were 2nd on kills, only 2nd to Doozum. And in Season 4, they have such an insane team around them. The only way they don't get MVP is just because of how powerful their team is. They can't get enough kills because their team is killing everyone. But I could definitely see Floofy getting MVP as well, because this is just such an insane team and Floofy is such a good player. So for that reason, they are a very obvious first place in this division. If they don't get first place, it's kind of a situation of Donut Kingdom of something must have gone wrong. Tavern is a very interesting case. This is literally the Season 3 Tavern. Let me pull up the rosters. Tavern is very interesting because it is literally the Season 3 Shot Glass, which is Tavern's B-League. Let me go ahead and find them. Here we go. Scouse, Attack Red, Casey, Robbie, Red 2, and Eat Markers. Now let's go ahead to Tavern Season 4 A-League. Casey, Scouse, Robbie, It's Nathan, Eat Markers. They have literally just brought their B-League into the A-League with the exception of Red 2. This is just a B-League team. They did win B-League last season though. The question is, are they good enough to also win the A-League? We can only wait to see. I really want them to. That would be such a cool narrative for a B-League team to come to the A-League and then win the A-League as well. That'd be so sick. I don't know if it can happen. The A-League is just so much harder than the B-League, but we'll see. But I'm putting Tavern in second because I do think it is a really good team, and also because I don't think Femme Fatales or Stuff But Tough can compete with them this season. If we take a look at both of those teams, where are they at? Femme Fatales, we've got Caution Tape, an insane player. We've got Wolf, we've got E-Card, we've got 70 Luna, we've got Suit Snap. A really good team, but I'm not sure they're good enough to compete with Tavern. Once again, it just really depends on how they adapt to the A-League. If they adapt to the A-League well, then I think they beat Femme Fatales. Stuff But Tough, we've got Cat, Bread Toast Burnt, Karnik, Zolved, and Ray. I've heard a lot of things about Bread Toast Burnt. I'm not sure. I think Stuff But Tough doesn't beat Tavern, and I don't think that they beat Femme Fatales. And so I'm going to put Stuffed But Tough at the bottom of the division. That being said, Season 1 Stuff But Tough, nobody predicted them making it to the A-League finals, so maybe Stuff But Tough surprises us. And then Femme Fatales in third. Oh shoot, I've been blocking my screen. Well, hopefully that didn't end up impacting anything too greatly. Here are my predictions from my Notepad of Truth for each division. Coastal Division, we've got Donut Kingdom in first, Volcanic, Serpentine in first, Arid, Nova in first, and Alpine Aces Up in first. Let me go ahead and expand this a little bit more, because now we need to start predicting playoffs. I'm just going to put all of these guys into 1 through 4. I'm not going to rank them yet. All right, who do I think makes 5 through 8? I'm not going to rank these either yet. I'm just going to predict who's making playoffs. So we've got Syndicate, Arcane, Nocturnal, and Tavern. I think 100% Nocturnal and Impact both make playoffs from the Arid division. Once again, that division just has such insane teams on it that all three of them should make playoffs, unless the fact that they were playing each other so much drags down one of their stats enough that one of them can't qualify. After putting those two in, though, we only have enough space for two more. Syndicate, Arcane, Hang 10, and Tavern are the main ones on my radar. I can only put in half of them, though. I'm putting in Tavern. Not necessarily because I think they're going to make playoffs, but because I want them to make playoffs, I'm putting in Tavern. It'd be so cool for the B-League team to make playoffs. Looking at the rest, I think it would be criminal to not put Arcane or Hang 10 into playoffs. So I'm going to put in Arcane because I have them ranked above Hang 10. So these are my playoffs teams. I got Donut Kingdom, Serpentine, Nova, Aces Up, Nocturnal, Impact, Tavern, and the Arcane. Now the next important step is ranking them so that I know what the playoffs bracket is going to look like, and then I can predict who is going to win the playoffs. Alright, for this task I have brought out a second Notepad of Truth. I need to first figure out my top 4 teams where each of them are placing. I think that Donut Kingdom is the #1 team of the regular season. Partially because I think that they can consistently beat the other 3 teams in their division enough that it boosts their score that much. Once again, the top 4 are ranked by their win rate, so Donut Kingdom just has to have a higher win rate than Serpentine, Nova, and Aces Up, and I think that they do. I think that the 4th place team in this division is going to be Nova. And once again, not because they're the worst team of the top 4, but because they have to compete against Nocturnal and Impact for this spot. And competing against Nocturnal and Impact is going to drag down their win rate so much that it's probably going to put them in 4th. Maybe 3rd if they do really well. Between 2nd and 3rd, it's between Serpentine and Aces Up. I think that Aces Up has a slightly easier bracket than Serpentine, or not bracket, a slightly easier division than Serpentine. And I think that this can give them 3rd, and I'll give Serpentine, that gives Aces Up 2nd, and I'll put Serpentine in 3rd. It's not all about their division. If Serpentine does really good in their division and then also does really good against teams outside of their division, they could shoot all the way up to 1st. But I just need to make a bracket, and I think that this is what the top 4 could probably look like. As for the bottom 4 of the playoffs, I think that if Tavern manages to make playoffs, it is because they barely squeaked through. Tavern probably is the least likely team of this top 8 to make playoffs, and once again, I'm putting them here because I think they have the capability of it, and also because I want them to. So I'm going to put them in 8th. Now, as for 7th place, probably the Arcane, and then between 6th and 5th, I'm going to put Nocturnal in 5th, because Nocturnal should have a higher win rate than Impact based off of my division rankings. So this is what I'm probably thinking: Tavern, Arcane, Impact, Nocturnal for the rankings of playoffs. Between the Donut Kingdom and Tavern match, I think Donut Kingdom should 100% win. If Donut Kingdom doesn't win, something went horribly wrong. Aces Up and Arcane, Aces Up should win. Impact versus Serpentine. This is an interesting matchup. Does Serpentine beat Impact? I think Serpentine should beat Impact, but between these two teams, anything can happen because both of them are extremely strong. I'm going to say Serpentine beats Impact, though. No bias. Between Nova and Nocturnal, Nova did have the better season than Nocturnal, according to me. Is it enough to beat Nocturnal in playoffs? The thing about Nocturnal is that Nocturnal always has such an insane team mechanically every single season, and they always have an insane start, and then during playoffs, something goes wrong. And I think it's because they are such an insane team mechanically, but once other teams catch up strategically, they are better at dealing with Nocturnal. And once again, I think that works against them here, and I think Nova can beat Nocturnal just based off of sheer strategy alone, and also just the fact that Impact has an insane team. And what this means for our next matchup is that we should have Donut Kingdom versus Serpentine and Aces Up versus Nova. For Donut Kingdom versus Serpentine, I think it could go either direction. Once again, I think this is similar to the Aces Up versus, or to the Nova versus Nocturnal match, where it could just go any direction. Serpentine versus Impact could go any direction. There are just so many insane teams this season, and you can't really know without seeing how they play once the IBL actually starts. I am going to say Serpentine beats Donut Kingdom because no bias here. Definitely not because I'm a Serpentine player. Between Aces Up and Nova, I think that Aces Up probably should beat Nova. We'll see how it goes throughout the season, but that's my prediction. And then for an Aces Up versus Serpentine finale, I think that Serpentine beats Aces Up to become this season for champions. Once again, the Notepad of Truth is the one that said this, and therefore it must be right. And I'm never wrong. But that's my predictions. Thank you for watching. Probably don't take them too seriously since the season just started, but also the Notepad of Truth does not lie. You must also keep that in mind. Thank you for watching though. Goodbye!